Alright, so just to give you guys an idea how rough it is out here right now, I figured I'd record and I can show you guys when I get back, because the internet connection is going to drop in and out while I'm driving. But this will kind of give you a little bit of an idea, part of the fucking mess that we have down here. If you look to the left and the right, there's fences down, which this is just coming out of my neighborhood. Just want to kind of give you guys an idea. You guys can see trees down in front of me. How trees are like, they have, you can see how hard the wind was blowing from the left, because that's the north side. So you can see trees down like crazy, tree limbs everywhere. Just kind of give you guys an idea. I want you guys to be able to see it so you guys can understand. It's not going to be the greatest video in the world because it's in here and I kind of got it propped so you guys can see better. Right here's on the corner. A bunch of pecan trees that are down right on the side got really tore up right there. A couple more right here on the right. This is on the way to my in-laws house. I drove through this the other day when there was like 100-mile-an-hour winds. It was really sketchy. it was bad. On the left there's some more trees down you guys can see coming up right here. On the left they're down, tree limbs. On the right side there's a tree down here, a couple more trees down in the yards. And this is a few days after. So even a few days after, with you know, a lot of cleanup going on in the area. So they're doing the best they can to clean stuff up, you know, kind of get back to normal, a little bit of normal life, because shit's kind of rough. Thank you. Had to wave to the cop. You know, those guys, they've been working their tails off. It's kind of vibrating because this back part, let me see, there you go, we could do that. That's not too bad. So it's not vibrating as bad anymore. Like through here, a lot of these fields off to my left and my right, a lot of them had big puddles of water. The left side was worse than the right. It wasn't too bad. There wasn't too much water on the road coming here, but you guys can see up here as we're coming up, house on the left has trees out. Their fence was damaged a little bit. But as we start to go down right here, this is when it got bad. Tree limbs down. It was just rough. Right up here, you'll see the branches on the left side of the road. This is where I was stopped and couldn't get any further to the in-laws. Power lines were down, trees in the middle of the road right here. It was bad. And then all this, once you get down here, the spot to the left was completely underwater. This was all underwater. When the storm was hitting us real bad. For about 2 days we had water through here. Water was running over this bridge. Just bad. It was bad juju. Just a rough area. It was sad. A lot of the shit going on, a lot of the destruction, a lot of trees. These people over here still don't have power yet. Turning down this road, this is on my way to my in-laws, so this is still how much further I had to go past that bridge that had all the water. It was, you know, and there was like no way for us. They're actually working on the power lines up here. That's awesome. So there was a huge tree that brought down some power lines up here. These linemen, these guys are everybody's savior right now, because this means we get power, AC, our refrigerators stay cold, we don't have to worry about ice. You guys see logs in the middle of the road, big trees were down in the middle of the road and stuff, and just a bad situation. Thank you. Those guys are from central Alabama, so they're from a little further up north. Tree limbs, you guys can see all the trees, like these were in the road. I mean, if you look to the left, you see a power line down from a tree that brought it down. Like, I'm almost getting teary-eyed because, like, this is where my in-laws live, right down here. And it's sad. So if I go straight and turn left, that's where my father-in-law and mother-in-law live. I'm going to go ahead and turn right since there's a lot of stuff. This road is where grandparents live. And let's see if they've cleaned any of this up. And it doesn't look too cleaned up. Like, this will give you an idea. This is bad through here. You can see the trees here. A power pole down on the ground right here in front of me. That's actually in the road. going to go off to the left a little bit because I've driven over it like 10 times anyway. Power pole down here, power line here. This is one of the kids' friends. This has actually gotten worse right here. You see the tree pulling down this power line. You push this in so you can see a little bit better. But that's a tree holding up a power line holding up a tree. You see all these trees to the right just pushed down, debris in the road. This is, you know, this is not even 5 minutes from my house. So you can see all the debris in the road. My wife's grandparents, where these shrubs are on the right, this is where they live. A couple big pine trees down on their house. Not on their house, but back on their property, back on the backside. It's just bad, man. Like, it's sad. You know, you can go through here and you see a couple trees down over here on the left side. See how they're pushing, like all these trees are leaning too. They weren't leaning before that hard. Well, some of those, I think those are just the way they grew, but I'm sure this storm didn't help with it. It's good that they're still working on power. That's going to be for my in-laws to get power. This other road, if I would have went straight and turned right, I would have came here. They live straight down this street on the left. Just, it's sad, this whole mess going through here. And you can see the trees down and the destruction that they went through. You know, trees out in the middle of the road and stuff. It's terrible. And these people are still without power. Actually, they might have power. They might have been able to get power up this way. So maybe the in-laws, maybe my father and mother-in-law will get power. This was underwater the other day. Right to the right's where that creek comes by, because I'm running parallel with that creek that I showed you guys that was underwater with that bridge. That's just off to my right. And you kind of see how it's a little bit lower area, so there's water running through there. You know, everywhere you see, you'll see trees down. Almost everybody through here, because all it is trees. And a lot of the big pine trees and pecan trees that we have out here, just they don't have that deep of a root system, so they got uprooted really easily from those winds, that constant, you know, 100-mile-an-hour winds that were pushing on them. It just made it a rough situation for everybody. You know, falling on power lines, everybody losing power. We were lucky. We lost power for 3 days. We had water. We didn't have warm water, but we had water, so we were lucky. We didn't have to boil any water. We're lucky in that aspect. And this is Friday, and the storm hit us Tuesday night. So you can still see, you know, several days after, you know, everybody's working their tail off clean up. The rains that you're seeing now is from that other tropical disturbance that's going on in the Gulf. That's not really building, but we're going to get rain, which is something that we really don't need after Hurricane Sally came through. Let me see. Right now, I am currently going to Fairhope, which is by the area where I fish a lot, to pick up some MREs, water, and ice and stuff. This bridge was underwater. If you guys look like to the left and the right, you'll see how trees are pushed. So going down this road, I'm heading west on this road. So the winds came from the right side, which is the north, and pushed a lot of the stuff off. So you'll see a lot of trees from right to left falling. And on the left side of the road, obviously, they're going to fall to the left from the direction that we're going. Just to give you a basic idea. So we're heading west on a road called 104. And the winds came from the right side, which is to the north, which is our right as we're on the video. You know, you can see like spots on the road where there's still debris. All to the right side, you see debris on the ground. These people look like they have power here, so that's a good sign. These linemen, like, I know if anybody ever goes through a natural disaster or something that happens where you lose power, just believe the trees down on the left side. Just understand that when those guys get an opportunity, these guys are working their tails off and working so hard to get everybody back to a normal way of life. That is just impressive. These guys are working around the clock, you know, and you know, they're leaving their homes and their families to help complete strangers out in a time of need, and try to make some normalcy, give them back their power so they can start rebuilding and start. You need power, and that'll help you rebuild, and it kind of helps with your morale. It gives you the energy to want to get out and clean once you do have power. Trees down on the right, like, it's so bad through here. We got lucky in a lot of spots. A lot of these spots don't look too unscathed. A lot of it's been cleaned up. People have been working their tails off around here, around the clock, to get people power, make sure we have water. There's businesses that are giving out free food, making sure that these emergency workers that are out here keeping everybody safe, our fire departments, our EMS people, the linemen, keeping them fed so they can help us out. It's just the small things that people try to do. Huge trees down on the right. And this is days after, you guys. This is days after we got hit by Hurricane Sally. And we still have, there's trees down. It looks better, stuff's clean. But like, look, if you look off to the sides of the road, you see a lot of debris, and we're piled up to save the road. Big trees down, like that was blocking the road the other day. A lot of this was underwater. You see even ditches just filling up with water with just a little bit of water we have now. We're so saturated with rain from the hurricane that the rain we're getting now from this tropical disturbance is bad. That was really bad, that field on the left. They had a lot of small pine trees down. And it's really sad looking at all of this. But luckily, like we all do as much as we can, when you have something happen to your community, big trees down on the right side you can see down. When something happens in a community, it brings people together. When you don't have control over something like a natural disaster or something along these lines, an earthquake, a hurricane, an ice storm, when something happens, people come together, and it really shows the resolve of how people are and how kind they are. As you guys can see, I'm in a lot of the country. This is really country. As I move south from my house, it turns a lot country. Open fields, cow pastures. But this is really like, everybody has to lean on each other. And I had so many of my friends that are in the area, when they got power, write me a text, because there was no social media. We didn't really have any internet on our phone. But write me and say, hey, dude, I got power. Come over if you need to take a shower. You need to do laundry. Come by the house, man. We got you. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. And just so many people trying to come out and help each other out and show what it means to be a community and be a family, and try to help each other out in a time of need, to help relieve some of that stress and anxiety that you get because you don't have control over it. Like me being a man, like my biggest thing was I have to protect my family. I got to make sure that they're fed, make sure that they're taken care of and safe. And when something like this happens, that takes it out of my hands. And that's the hardest thing for a man to realize. I don't want to say a man in particular, but somebody that's taking care of their family, that you lose control of that. Like, it's so, once you get to this point, like, I don't know if some of you guys have, families, your parents, your father, your mother, you have kids, or even if you're younger, try to take this as an experience to understand that it's so hard, and you have to try to only control things that you can control. So the anxiety builds up, the stress builds up, but sit back and remember you have friends and family that are here, that are there to try to help you relieve some of that stress in a time like this. It's overwhelming, and that's why you got make sure you lean on those people to help take some of that. You don't have to take it all on yourself. It's something that you have to remember, that you have people that you can lean on, and that you don't have to take that full burden on yourself, because if you do that, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And that's one thing that I promise. So take that as a lesson, that you have friends, family, and people that care about you to look after you, that can take care of stuff for you and take some of that burden off of you. That's what family's for. That's what friends are for. You really see who your friends are in a time of need like this, when all hell breaks loose, and you have no power. You can't take a warm shower. It's 85, 90 degrees outside, and you don't have AC. And it's just hot and you're miserable, and just try to sit back and handle things that you can control and not think about the big picture. Try to take it one step at a time, small things, you know, not like, how am I going to worry about food tomorrow? Worry about how to get food now. You know, those little things. Don't look at the big picture. Take it one small step at a time and try to take care of those little goals as you can instead of the big picture. And that'll help some of that anxiety and some of that stress. And those other things, they'll come together. You know, you take care of the small things, the big things will come together. And that's just kind of the way life is. So just remember that. I mean, we're very fortunate and very lucky from this hurricane. It was only a Category 2 hurricane when it hit land. The problem was it was moving at 2 miles an hour. And so my area for about 8 hours straight had hurricane force winds. And eventually stuff's going to give when it's hitting like that. Usually they typically move faster. So even though it wasn't that big of a storm or as strong of a storm that would make people want to leave and evacuate the area, it was slow moving. It stalled. Nothing was steering it. So it basically sat there and was just really slow, just tearing everything up in its wake. And, you know, if I were to do it again, I probably wouldn't have left. I really want to, I got to save money. Hopefully income tax check and all that, I can get a generator so I can make sure I keep my fridge cold. Make sure we have food in there. You know, if I can have a fan in the house, those little things that help with quality of life and take a little bit of stress off of you. So hopefully I can save up enough money and get enough money for next year, because I'm not going to be able to buy one soon. But hopefully next year, when hurricane season comes around, I'll be better prepared and have a generator. So I know my family's going to be well off and taken care of. Like trees. I mean, trees are everywhere. I mean, I'm going to stop pointing out trees to you guys because they're just down. But, you know, just, you know, little things that I'm going to try to do myself to make sure that my family is safe, taken care of, and I know they're going to be okay. My house is a very structurally sound house, so I wasn't worried about the hurricane winds. Of course, you always got to worry about tornadoes spinning off. But overall, my house was a safe area. I'm not in a flooding area, so there's usually not any flooding going on at my house. So my house is a very safe place. My whole neighborhood's good. The issue that we have is not having power. We were lucky enough to only go 3 days without power. If I would have had to go another day or two, it would have gotten quality of life would have went down really quick. I had charcoal, so I was able to cook on the grill. So we were able to eat and stuff like that. So that wasn't too bad. It's just sad. And I want to take it upon myself to try to make sure I have a generator by the time next hurricane season rolls around, so I can make sure my family's taken care of in case this happens again. That's my biggest scare. Is the biggest thing that I'm worried about is my family not being taken care of. And it melts your heart when you're sitting there and my poor son's sleeping and he's sweating his tail off, you know, sitting in the couch next to me sleeping, and me not being able to sleep. And next time I want to at least be able to have a fan, get some air circulating. You know, just those little things, you forget how the quality of life, and it makes you realize and miss a lot of that type of stuff. You know, as you guys can see, you know, this is Saturday. The storm hit Tuesday night. And it's probably about 15 miles to the right, which is north. None of that had power as of Tuesday night. Power went out. So you can see how hard these electric companies and these linemen that all swarmed to the area. It's incredible watching that happen. Come down into the area to fix these lines, get trees off of these power lines, fix the power poles that were broke. Just my company alone, my power company alone, they had 2,000 power poles broke and 4,300 trees and power lines. And that just gives you a little idea. And this is the main road. And you can see on the right, trees, debris. Of course, there were trees in this road. You can see right here, this tree was probably in the road that they got out of the way. It's just, sad, you know, and you know, I'm glad it's over with. I'm glad me and my family's safe. I'm still worried about my friends that don't have power, and I'm still concerned about that. And it still, you know, sucks, you know, and I keep telling them if they need anything to call me. You know, I have a warm shower, I got electricity, I got some AC if you need a break from everything. So that's what I'm trying to do and help them out as much as I can. Hopefully I can get back here. Hopefully they're still here. They said they'll be here until it stops raining. So, God, these houses and this all flooding through here. This is, oh my goodness. Gosh, well, good. They had to clean up. Nothing happened to those people's houses. It's just sad, and I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're fixing stuff up, and you know, we're rebuilding. I mean, that's what we do best. We're strong individuals, strong-minded, and I'm just glad that everybody's taken care of and everybody's safe. Sweet, they're still here. I can get some. Awesome. I was worried that they were gonna leave if it started raining. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off for now. I don't want to put them on camera and stuff, but I'm coming down here, gonna get some more MREs, water, and that type of stuff. But I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Thanks for hanging out.